Yo, 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 it is Nono B, and today we are going to be doing a lyrical analysis of my song, Go About Your Day. I released a lot of songs this year. Why Go About Your Day? So Go About Your Day, I feel like it best encapsulates and summarizes the meaning behind all the music I've been releasing. And it has a message in it that's so strong and powerful. I think it's the most important for it to be the first one to share. This song came about, I was just looking for, I don't know. Let me think. It was towards the end of making my album Neb, which is why, it's the final song on Neb. It's the outro. And I was thinking how I'm going to go on a journey to the top of like my artistic career. And that was like, I felt like I was at like almost like a midpoint for it in a sense. And I wanted to write essentially a note to myself in the future, encouraging me to keep on going whenever I felt down. So that was essentially the concept of the song. And that's what I was thinking about. And it's at the end of Neb because, the album Neb goes from I'm Drained, a song about being tired of just keep on working and constantly pushing yourself farther and farther, and sometimes it can be a bit draining to get to those limits. So Go About Your Day is essentially a response to that song, and it's almost like I'm writing to that version of me in that song, Drained, in Go About Your Day. The lyrics, by the way, the lyrics are going to be in the description if you would like to read along with what I'm talking about. The lyrics are going to be in the description of this video. Just look below, and they should be right there. And another thing to mention is that this is my analysis and my meaning of the song, and the lyrics, I wrote them, so, of course I'm going to have a meaning, and yours can be something completely different, and it's just as valid and just as good and just as okay, because that's the beauty of art. It's just interpretation and getting different meanings and different emotions out of the same thing, which is just beautiful. That's the whole point of humanity, have different perspectives on stuff. So let's get started. Go About Your Day. It starts like this. Why you stuck when nothing's cemented? I know things weren't going your way. Hope you feel better after you vented, 'cause everything's gonna be okay. So, why you stuck when nothing's cemented? What that means, or what I was imagining in my head, is somebody walking on a sidewalk, and maybe they're not paying attention, right? And they take 2 steps, and suddenly they're in some cement now that's drying, and they can't move because it's drying really fast. So they put their feet in, and then next second, they're stuck in the cement. They're literally a part of the ground now. The cement's gone all around their feet, all the way up to like their shins or something. And they're literally stuck in the ground. They can't move. They can just like shake their body around or something, but they can't walk anymore. So they're literally stuck. That's not the case for most people at most times. So why are you stuck if nothing is cemented? What I mean by that is, why are you if you're not physically stuck somewhere, why are you mentally stuck somewhere? And nothing is cemented. So I meant that partially in a literal sense, and then partially in like a metaphorical time sense, because the last song was about how time is gaining. It's called Time is Gaining, so it's like about gaining new experiences and learning lessons as time goes on. But so if nothing's cemented in this moment, you never know what your future is exactly going to be. Nobody knows. So nothing is cemented in that sense either. Are you stuck with nothing cemented? I know things weren't going your way. Hope you feel better after you vented, because everything's going to be okay. Sometimes for me, I have a journal. I'll write in the journal just to get something out there and to let it off my mind and to feel better. Talking to my friends or my family, like my parents or my sister, about stuff, and just getting it out of my head. And so it just makes me feel a lot better too. Just venting to people can be something really relieving, because you can get a different perspective, like I said earlier, and also just people can give you ideas for solutions to whatever you're venting about that maybe you didn't think of before. Again, saying because everything's gonna be okay, you know, I'm just a very optimistic, positive, looking for the good person. So saying everything's okay, gonna be okay, I just feel that way in general about like everything. Like literally, I feel like everything's gonna be okay, eventually. So that's the meaning of that. Humans got you fuming, they demented, always having something to say. So people sometimes put down other people, not even on purpose. Sometimes sometimes it's on purpose, sometimes it's not on purpose, but people just always have something to say and have their opinion, and sometimes it's just not very constructive. When it's like criticism, it's just criticism, and it doesn't really add any sort of value to a conversation or a project that someone's working on, or just anything, any type of advice. If it's going to be with a negative energy, it's just not useful in my opinion. So demented, I don't mean that in any offensive like term. I don't mean that to offend anybody. I just feel like nobody's perfect and nobody knows everything, and some people are demented in that sense, if that makes sense, in like certain aspects, I guess. Like, well, I couldn't tell you a thing about like how a volcano works. Like, I literally have no idea how like it shoots out lava. So in that sense, I guess I'm demented. But if I was to give like someone advice about a volcano, that wouldn't make any sense because I don't know anything about it. So it's like people always have something to say, even if they don't know anything about what they're talking about. So that's what I meant by that. And when I say, like I said, I'm just going to clarify. When I say demented, I mean lack of knowledge on something. I don't mean that in any sort of offensive or demeaning or just negative term, you know. That's my way of it. I mean, you know, my whole thing is all love for everyone, so I hope I can get that across clearly in this video. You're gonna get offended, can't prevent it, just gotta go about your day. So you're gonna get offended, can't prevent it, just gotta go about your day. Everybody gets offended, has gotten offended in their lives in some sort of way. You can't prevent it. That's what the original lyric was. You can't prevent it. I said you can prevent it. I changed it to can because you just got to go about your day. You just kind of got to keep living, keep going, keep pushing through, just keep existing and doing your thing, and almost just kind of push that off to the side and disregard it or not hold any weight with if someone has an insult, if they're just being rude to you or being mean, you can hold that with no weight whatsoever. And that's, to me, that's the meaning of going about your day, just living in peace in your head, regardless of what's outside of your head and your body, and live that type of thing. So yeah, it's possible to get offended. Everyone does after a certain amount of time, but I feel like if you really, really want to not get offended, you do have that choice. You always have that choice. That's my opinion. It's just some things happen outside of you, and then your reaction or perception of it. You have control of your reaction and perception of it, so might as well take that to the fullest advantage possible. Alright, so that's the analysis of the chorus. Oh boy, this is gonna be a long video. Let's get into the verse. Take a breath, hold it close in your chest from your nose, let it sit and let it go. So to me, I just imagine that as like a breathing exercise. If you want to calm down, they always say if you want to calm down, just focus on your breathing. So take a breath, hold it close, in your chest, from your nose, let it set, then let it go. And that's just one breath. I feel like that's something I do in meditation too, or just anyone can do in meditation. So yeah, that's about the breath part for me. So take a breath, hold it close in your chest, from your nose, let it set, then let it go, and never fret, because what you know is limited by the fear of risk. Possibilities are limitless when hopping out your bottomless abyss. So what that means is, do not be scared, because what you know, your knowledge, you could be limiting yourself based on the fear of risk. You could do so much more with your life if you weren't afraid of failure, which is a possibility with risk. That's the thing. You fear, what if it goes wrong? But what if you didn't have that fear and you just did? That's what I'm talking about with that part. And possibilities are limitless when hopping out your bottomless abyss. That means essentially what I was saying before. You can do whatever you want when you hop out your bottomless abyss, which sounds like that doesn't make sense. How could you hop out of something that's bottomless? See, that's the whole thing. The possibilities are limitless. So you hop out of something that's bottomless. It just makes sense. It makes sense because it doesn't make sense. That's the whole point of limitless, infinite. It can make sense without making sense, as long as it's good, you know? And even then, it doesn't have to make sense. So anything is possible with love, in my opinion. That's what that line means. So possibilities are limitless when hopping out your bottomless abyss. So steep, are you gonna take that leap? You want to peep what's on the other side and reap the benefits of being past the days where you would weep because they called you a freak. Go ahead, it's in your favor, take a peek. So when I say that, is that when you look down into a bottomless abyss, it's obviously going to be steep because it's going straight down forever. So taking that leap out of that bottomless abyss can seem like an impossible task, but it's not. And even when you're in the bottomless abyss looking up and out, it also seems steep because, you know, it's the same, you know, it's the same bottomless abyss. You want to peep what's on the other side and reap the benefits of being past the days. This part is talking specifically to myself, being past the days where you would weep because they called you a freak. That was me talking about getting bullied and at like school or whatever, and like people just making fun of me and stuff for being myself. And I think for me personally, hopping out of that bottomless abyss means getting past that and not limiting myself or even believing in those type of comments made towards me, and just being happy with who I am. And now I'm always working to better myself and to help the world and such with my words. So take a peek. That means, you know, just get an idea of what you want and then keep working to get over there. Taking a peek means inside the imagination, but being there is a completely different thing, obviously. So this is like I said, this is a motivational song. So it's about the process as much as it is the goal. It's about the road, or the journey, is as much it is about the destination. That's what I think is important about going about your day. So that can be both of those things, because a day is just a day regardless of what's going on and what you're doing with it. Supply yourself with optimistic motivation to allocate the proudest takes of vows you make for your nation and any location for creating, debating, negotiating, and litigation, fixating on deflating, aggravating relations. So that's a lot at once, and it's a lot at once in that song, but it means just get up, go do what you're meant to do. This is, once again, this song is me talking to myself. So I'm saying, with my whole message, is to tell the world to take a look at itself, in the way that it works, and see what can be done better. So supply yourself with optimistic motivation to allocate the proudest takes of vows you make for your nation. That means like the best ideas that I have that I can come up with, bring that to our elected leaders right now, or just our future leaders, or people, just anyone who's willing to receive and consider ideas. So it doesn't even have to be a leader, but because a nation is made up of leaders and its people. One can't exist without the other, so both are important to bring it up to. And any location, so I'm saying not even just our nation, but if it really is a good idea, then it should be implemented everywhere, right? Everywhere on the earth and everywhere on whatever other planet, I guess. If there's other life on other planets, who knows? I sure don't. But any location for creating, debating, negotiating, then litigation. So debating and negotiating, that means like to really bring an idea to its best form, it probably has to go through a lot of revision and a lot of people with different perspectives on the topic at hand, so you can get all aspects of this idea and all possible scenarios, including this idea, to be accounted for and have a response ready that is efficient. And I think debating is when it's done correctly and without negativity and anger involved in it and disagreement, it can be very productive as it brings, like I said, the best results possible. And negotiation, that's just like a money thing, you know? I think money is a very interesting concept, and I think it can make people just really out for themselves, or even like nations and stuff, or companies, nations, countries, whatever. It can make a certain thing, someone or something that can get money out for itself. So my idea of negotiation is to make it so everyone's working together a bit more money wise, and everyone can have a lot of money and such things like that. And then litigation, that means changing the law, I believe. I'm not exactly sure right now if that's exactly what it means, but I think it means changing the laws. I think it means that. I really do. All I know is that it means changing some sort of like structured law thing. I looked up the definition a long time ago when I was writing the song, and that's the last time I looked it up, but it made sense to me there. Actually, let me think. That is what it means. It has to be what it means. If it's not what it means, I'll write it in the description exactly what it means, but I believe that's what it means. So, you know, the laws have actions behind them. So changing the laws will change our actions. And I think, you know, the laws of the land are pretty well held up by a lot of people. So, you know, you gotta change that to change the world. Simple as that to me. Fixate, and all this of what I just talked about before at the beginning of the verse. I'm doing all this to fixating on deflating, aggravating relations. So that means getting rid of, or like lowering and eventually getting rid of aggravating relations, annoying interactions, bad interactions, negative happenings, negative interactions between people. You know, I think that's important, of course, because who wants a negative interaction? Nobody deep down. Nobody really likes that type of stuff. People just want to get along with each other and just enjoy life together and not have to worry about anyone hating on them or anyone else. So doing all this stuff that I'm talking about is with the goal of that, of course. And it's not even aggravating relations with one another, humans, like with nature, and we're not separate from nature because we're humans and animals, but with other nature things like plants and animals and such. So deflating aggravating relations with that is very important to me. While celebrating aspirations of the next generation, making the space bin the conversations, asking why workstations don't feel like their vacations, waiting to escape the rotating day in and day out, hating the way you're paying for the place you stay in. So what that means to me is, so I feel like the next generation of people, we are even my generation, we understand technology at average the best from what I've seen, and the next generation will likely have an even better understanding of technology, but that means we have access to people around the whole world and are much more like connected in that sense than any generation in the past were. So socially, we are the most connected, we're the most loving, I feel like. So, and basically celebrating aspirations of the next generation, that means me and people my age when we turn to adults, and then like the kids of now, my generation will have kids eventually, them, and I've seen it with a lot of people. There's a lot of people my age and around my age who want to make the world a better place genuinely want to help, and all the bad stuff that's going on want to expose but not shame, and just get a better understanding of each other and the whole universe and stuff like that. So I think that stuff should be celebrated and should be acknowledged in a positive regard, because it's just, why not? It's just a good thing to do. It's fun to celebrate, and it's fun to just realize, dang, I'm so thankful for you doing this thing. Good job. You deserve a celebration. It's positive. It's a positive thing to do. It's a positive thing to receive. And then making the space bin the conversations, asking why workstations don't feel like they're vacations, waiting to escape the rotating day in and day out, hating the way you're paying for the place you stay in. So for a lot of people, or at least some people, they don't like the job they work. They work some job that doesn't align with what they enjoy doing in life. So, and the reason for that is a necessity. You need to do that in this world to make money, or they feel that they need to do that in this world to make money, and so they can survive. They can have a house and food and water. That just shouldn't be the case. That's really, and why don't workstations feel like they're vacations? Because if it felt like a vacation, you'd be relaxed. But sometimes at work, you can get stressed out, and you just wish you were on vacation. You wish you were just away from all this pressure, and just like, when it's about money too, it could just be very hard to focus on things outside of work. And some people genuinely do hate their jobs, and I was one of those people in the past. I've worked jobs I was not very fond of, and I wished I was like, why does the whole world have to be this way? That's what I would think. I'd be like, why do I have to do something that I don't like? Why would I exist if I have to do something that I don't enjoy? That doesn't seem very fair to me, or to anyone else for that matter. We should all be doing things that we enjoy. I think that's possible while also sustaining the natural resources that everyone needs to be able to do the things that they enjoy. So that's what that line means to me. The next line, kind of ridiculous what we must give for the way that you live. Some people, yeah, kind of ridiculous what you must give for the way that you live. Some people not buying the bribes will take their lives with a shiv. So, like I said, you have to give up a lot of your time just to live. You have to give up a lot of your time and effort and your energy just to survive. And when you're doing that for something that you don't enjoy, especially, just not a fun scenario. And some people just don't buy into the idea, including me, that you have to work like a 9 to 5 or like your average office desk job or just like some regular job to like live, to exist. There's other there should be other ways to just be able to exist. It shouldn't just have to be in survival mode 24/7, which is really what it is right now. Some people, they don't buy the bribe either, and then the other option, or not the other option, but the other thing that people do is they'll take their lives. They'll just commit suicide because it gets them so depressed and so down. They feel so alone and empty and unfulfilled potential or unfulfilled purpose. Like if you're just working at like some job that could be replaced by a robot, you could feel very useless. So people take their lives, sometimes with the shiv, which is just a different word for a knife. And so that's what that means. It's a sad thing. It shouldn't be that way, but that's what it is. It's not fun to have those type of thoughts about suicide, and I could imagine it's even less fun if you actually go through with it. And we shouldn't have a world where that people even feel that to be an option because of how bad things feel for them at the time. The next line, wildest vibe divided tribes back when we were little kids. The wildest vibes divided tribes back when we were little kids. Wildest vibes divided tribes back when we were little kids. So what that means is that, there's just wild vibes all the time. I don't think anyone has had like a normal life. I think everybody experiences a lot of weird and wild things. So I think existence is just weird. So that's why I said wildest vibes. Divided tribes back when we were little kids. At least in my experience at school, or just being a little kid, and just being a kid in general. People tend to just form their groups or their cliques of friends, and then you just mainly stick to that group. It's as simple as that. Our eyes grew too wide with our guide to find don't rid. I feel like this is kind of the flip side of our generation having such access and understanding of technology. We get to see the whole world, like I said, but you get to see the whole world. You see all the craziness and all like the tragedy, as long as with all the good things. But sometimes when you're so young and you don't understand fully, taking all that in can be overwhelming. That's what that means to me. Defy and don't rid of all friends and family who didn't support you from the get-go, saying that they backed your future but really wanted you back to retro. What that means is that if you have a dream and you really want it and you're passionate about it more than anything, and you have family telling you, no, you can't do that, that's not going to make you money, that's not going to, if they just any reason, like, you really just gotta listen to your heart. You gotta defy the negativity from whatever source that is. It could be outside your family too, it could be your friends, but So some people say they support you sometimes too, but in reality, they just want you to, they don't want you to grow. They just want you to stay down on their level, and just so they can just be with you and hang and whatever, so they can just be with you. They don't want you to go off and venture because they want you to stick by their side. Friends and family, like I said, they want what they think. They want what they Friends and family, they want what they think is best for you, but sometimes it's not what's best for you. So just listen to your heart and do what you feel is best for you. That, in my opinion, that's the best move. That's the greatest move, in my opinion. Seems like everyone against you when everyone really with you, and the earth ain't breaking and quaking on the highest scale of the Richter. So once again, this is just me being optimistic. I feel like in reality, if people had a microphone and could speak to the world for like 5 minutes, most people would say something that everyone agrees with, in my opinion. Something very, peace, love, all that type of stuff, unity, these type of things. And I think that's something that everyone would agree with. Like, if I had a microphone to the world for 5 minutes, I would talk about how world peace needs to happen. We all need to work together more, just have more love in the world and zero problems and stuff. And that would be the best case scenario. I'd say we need the best case scenario to actually happen. And I think everyone would agree with me on that. So that's why I feel like no one is really against me. No one has it out for me personally, or just at all. And people would really, if they knew my intentions were genuine, they would support, because how couldn't you? And the earth ain't breaking and quaking on the highest scale of the Richter. I mean that in the literal sense and the metaphorical sense, as, the earth, the tectonic plates or whatever they're called, aren't all rubbing up against each other at the same time, and everything's just shaking and the whole thing's collapsing and the earth is cracking and exploding everywhere. It doesn't mean that, it's not, it does mean that, but that's what I mean in the song, but that's not happening. It's literally not happening right now, and I doubt it'll ever happen. And that's what I mean in a literal sense. In a metaphorical sense, I mean that that all hope for the world has not been lost, that there's still mostly good people out there willing to do good things for the earth and wanting the best for the earth and just people in general. So the earth ain't quaking and breaking on the highest scale of Richter. That means things aren't the worst that they could be. Things could always be worse, and things could always be better too. So, and then it goes, so why you stuck with nothing cemented, and it goes back into the chorus of talking about just don't worry, because the past is past and the future is undetermined. So as long as you're not literally stuck physically in one space, you can do whatever you set your mind to. That is the overall meaning of the song. Regardless of what others say or how others feel, you can achieve whatever you want in this life. Your heart's deepest desires is possible with the power of love. That's a very important part of it, with love. So, yeah, that's what Go About Your Day means to me. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope y'all have a great forever. And peace, much love, and peace. Peace, much love, peace, peace. Peace.